Were you ready? Did you feel like physically and mentally when you got to the NFL training camp? Yeah. Yeah, and you get to the NFL. You had a teammate, Carlos Rogers, cornerback out of Augusta, Georgia, that played with you, and you probably knew some of the other guys, so that familiarity helped a lot. You said as far as learning, is it a faster pace than what you had at Auburn in the SEC when you got to the NFL, or was it kind of the same? How much, when a quarterback comes in to the NFL, obviously when you were in college, you had classwork to deal with, 20 hours a week limitation, but you also do a lot on your own to get ready. But how much time did you spend after practice at night studying the playbook? Obviously, a lot as a rookie, but as you went on in your career, what did that amount to? That's right. Jason, when you finished up at Auburn in 2004, we had not really seen, and really it was 2006 when it really came on, the hurry up, no huddle of Gus Malzahn, and that was 2006 when he was offensive coordinator at Arkansas with Houston Nutt. Since then, more and more of the dual threat quarterbacks have gone on to the NFL. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. He played at Texas Tech, a program known for producing quarterbacks with video game type numbers in the passing game. Why is it so difficult for a true dual threat quarterback? Obviously, the physical, you can't really run wide in the NFL. But other than that, why is it so difficult for the dual threat quarterbacks? Is it that they're not pure quarterbacks, so they don't know the game like it is in the NFL, or the game just hasn't gotten to that point yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You know what's scary, Jason, is what if when you were playing at Auburn, Auburn had a hurry up no huddle offense, and you would turn around and you had an option to give the ball to Cadillac Williams or Ronnie Brown. I mean, and look at your left tackle. You know, my friend Mark Parra was your right tackle, number 69, and you had Marcus McNeil out of Crawford, right over there, Ellendale, right near Atlanta. At 6'8", 6'9". I don't think he gave up a sack in 38 starts, and you had to have tremendous confidence when you went back in the pocket. But that, I think it's scary to think how productive the offense would have been with Al Borges. Man, he was a hell of a coach. 4 years, Auburn won 41 games with him as a coordinator, and he's the kind of guy who's smart enough, probably would have adapted to any system, wouldn't Yeah. Yep. Well, Jason, yeah, you're right. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, before we're going to have to go to a commercial break, and I appreciate you being on. One last thing. You had 4 different offensive coordinators in your 4 years at Auburn. You're right. What if you'd have had Borges your whole career? I think you'd have 2 or 3. Yeah. Well, Jason, that's great insight. We're looking forward to having you on again. I mean, I tell you, as we get closer to the draft, your insight and the knowledge that you have, you bring real world experience, is invaluable. So, look, thank you so much. You are a credit, like I say, to Auburn. But also, I want to get in next time you're on, talk about the relationship that you have with the owner when you're the first round draft pick. How much coaching is different than college and all, because we're getting toward the draft. This is what everybody's pushing for, and you are a great resource, tapping into your brain, because you've got a lot of knowledge. Thank you so much. All right, you too. We're going to take a quick couple of commercials here in just a minute, and then we're going to be joined. We're hopefully going to be joined by Ken Story, a columnist from the Lexington, Kentucky Herald. Having a little bit of trouble with the phone line, and going to get Ken or Mark's story on. I want to talk about Kentucky football, Kentucky basketball, what all is going on. I really think that the Wildcat football program, the culture and all that, has changed a lot. And to me, what Mark Stoops is doing in Kentucky, he's got those people. In the last 4 years, Kentucky's won 32 football games. Well, you compare that to Clemson or Alabama or LSU. No, it's not close. But Kentucky basketball has come a long way. And that Stoops name carries a lot of weight. They've had back-to-back bowl victories over national powers Penn State and Virginia Tech the last couple of years. Last year they won 10 games, well, in 2018. This past year they won 8 with 3 different quarterbacks. Hey, we're going to be right back. You're listening to Sidelines. Hey, Mark. It's Rob Brown with Sidelines in Memphis. Will you be on the radio with us here in about 2 minutes? Okay, thanks. We're having an issue with our phone. If you call this number, if I give you the number to call to the station where we're trying to log in. Okay, all right, it's area code 901 452 309. Yes, sir. We're calling the thank you, sir. Yeah, that's it. Hey, thank you. I'll be. All right, Rob Brown back here with you on Sidelines on a Friday afternoon. We will be with you till 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern. And we're joined by columnist Mark Story of the Lexington Herald-Leader. Lexington, Kentucky, covers University of Kentucky, Louisville, all sports up there. And I read some of your columns this past week, Mark, and I want to get you on the show. And thank you for joining us from Kentucky, the heart of bluegrass country. And tell us what's going on right now. I know it's basketball season, and what's the feeling about Kentucky? They've already won the regular season title, and they're heading into the tournament. Well, looking at this every year, I mean, everybody in Memphis, of course, remembers John Calipari. He's an incredible recruiter. Every year, you bring in so much talent, it's almost taken for granted sometimes by the fans. But how would you compare this year's Kentucky basketball team to his previous teams? Looking at the run SEC tournament time, that's Kentucky 49 SEC. That this past week they won their 49th regular season SEC basketball championship. And the tournament is when Kentucky really gets on fire, comes alive. Right now, what's going to be considered a successful year? I know your standards, it's the richest tradition in all of basketball, but what do you think will be considered a good year? Yes. Yeah.
More vulnerable the first weekend than they would be the second, just because for whatever reason they seem to sort of play to the level of the competition.
Yeah, and that's looking around the SEC. You look at an upstart program like Auburn. They've lost. If they lose tomorrow at Tennessee, that will be 5 of the last 7. In Kentucky, that game against Tennessee the other night, the longer it went on, you felt like Tennessee kept gaining momentum, and they got the win. But in your opinion, is the SEC really strong this year? I know everybody's pointing to the Big Ten as the best league in the country.
Well, if you look at the metrics, no, the SEC is not strong this year. I think it is interesting. Sometimes perceptions of conferences take hold when you get to the NCAA tournament, and what you thought is completely proven not to be true. I remember 2006 when I don't recall the SEC having an awful lot of respect. And then the tournament came, and both Florida and LSU went to the Final Four, and Florida won it all. So, with that disclaimer, but it doesn't. It does not look like the SEC is very strong. If you're looking at the power rankings or the sort of the out of conference, marquee kind of wins, which the SEC does not have an abundance of. So I think based on the evidence to this point, I don't think we have any reason to think it's especially strong. But the good thing is, that'll be determined in the NCAA tournament, and that'll be determined on the court.
All right, let's switch over to football. What's going on at Kentucky under Mark Stoops in the 7 years he's been there? It's been remarkable. He's really built a culture up there. I mean, Rich Brooks had success, and there were other coaches that came before him that had success. But this run, it's not just a run, they're solid. With 3 different quarterbacks last year, Kentucky was able to pull out an 8-win season. They won 10 the year before. As I mentioned before you came on, wins over Penn State, Virginia Tech the last couple of years in bowl games. 32 wins the last 4 years. And Kroger Field is becoming a tougher and tougher place to play. What about in the offseason? Coaching changes, coaches that left, new additions. What's going on with Kentucky football?
Yeah, they have kept all their coordinators. Brad White did a really good job last year in his first year as defensive coordinator, and I think he's a rising star in coaching. They were able to keep him. Eddie Graham will be back as the offensive coordinator. And of course, Michigan State made a big run at Vince Neil as a recruiting coordinator.
Yeah.
And he's just done yeoman's work recruiting, especially the state of Ohio. And Kentucky was hurt the Big Ten teams. Was a success recruiting in Ohio. So when Michigan State made a big run for him, that was kind of an acknowledgement of that. And Kentucky's been able to keep all their coordinators. They lost two assistants. Eddie Hall, who did a former Eastern Kentucky head coach, did a tremendous job at Kentucky. Every area he coached, special teams, safeties, outside linebackers, got better at the field with coach, with position coach. So he used to have a head coach at Murray State. That was a big loss. And they actually had they not yet filled that spot. It was rumored it was going to be Mark Stoops, Mark Stoops' older brother. And Mark said Monday at his pre-spring practice news conference that Mike had turned it down and decided to stay with Nick Saban as a consultant in Alabama. And then they lost Dave LeBlanc, the defensive line coach. They replaced him with Anwar Stewart. He's a former Kentucky player who coached the defensive line last year at Appalachian State.
Well, looking the talent, I think Kentucky this past year signed 5 players out of Ohio and 4 out of Kentucky, and I think 4 out of Michigan. They signed some of the better players in Michigan. Talk about some of those new recruits coming in, and I know some of them will be going through spring practice.
And Steve Klingsdale, who coaches the quarterback, is the primary recruiter in Michigan. He's done a really good job. They've gotten some good players out of Michigan. And this year they signed the number 1 player in the state of Michigan, a defensive lineman, Justin Rogers, who, the 5-star recruit you would expect has a very good chance to get on the field as a true freshman. But yeah, they've recruited very well in Ohio and in Michigan. And they've recruited in a way that people always said would not be possible at Kentucky. They're not a gimmick kind of team. They're not running an air raid. It's a power football team. Their recruiting has been very good in the offensive line and the defensive line. And they play a typical brand of football. And it's interesting. The fans inside Kentucky are more optimistic about UK football than I've ever seen them in my adult life. And my adult life has been fairly long at this time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can play to the fans' expectations, because the fans are really optimistic about Kentucky football.
Yeah, and I'm watching, and I'm an Auburn grad, and I've been paying attention to what Mark Stoops is doing, and everybody remembers Eddie Grand on the staff for 10 years at Auburn. Hell of a running back coach, great recruiter, hell of a guy too. And if you could, one last thing before you go, talk about the financial investment into Kentucky facilities. I remember when the Nutter Center was built, but they're way beyond that now, because if you have ever doubted Kentucky's commitment, and there's a lot of money up there, not just from Ashland Cole and all that, but a lot of money being invested into athletics up there, and it's really benefiting football. And I think that the way Mark Stoops is building this culture, it's built to last. It is not just a Band-Aid approach.
Yeah, they have put a lot of resources into football, and probably for the first time, maybe ever, I don't know that Kentucky is at a big disadvantage in terms of facilities compared to other SEC schools, which is not to say that Kentucky is better, but they're not worse. I mean, they can bring recruits in here now and show them around and not, have to worry that they'll go somewhere else and just, be blown away. The Kentucky will look bad in comparison. Mark Stoops, when he came on, hired away from Florida State, and his defensive coordinator was able to sort of tap some of the money that had traditionally been behind the men's basketball program, and get some of those boosters financially back football. And I always tell people, who would ever dream that Kentucky would build a football training facility so nice that the athletic directors of both Texas and Florida have come in here in the last couple of years to look at it, to get ideas. So I think that tells you, pretty much the level of investment and the quality of what they've built in terms of facilities.
Hey, Mark, great report, and we would love to have you back on again next week if you can join us, because the more people are starting to look at what's going on in Kentucky, and they've gotten several kids out of Memphis in this area over the years. 32 wins the last 4 years. That's 8 wins a year, and I think this is the best job coaching-wise Mark Stoops and his staff did this past year to pull out 8 games, 8 victories with all the quarterback changes. But we would love to have you. And before we let you go, how can people follow you on the social media?
Come on, at Mark C. Story. That's at Mark C. Story.
You there?
Okay,
so, yeah. Okay. And I know you've been a columnist for the last 30 years, and also you can go to the Lexington Herald Leader and find you and read your columns. I read 3 of your columns the other day, and I was like, I got to have you. And thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you on same time next week if you can do it.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We're going to be right back here with former head coach Sonny Smith, who's SEC on the Auburn Network, color analyst on the Auburn Basketball Network. Hall of Fame. He's just about to be inducted into his 8th Hall of Fame, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Governor Bill Lee made that announcement last week. But before we do it, we're going to take some quick messages from our sponsors on Sidelines. I love this song, man. Brings me to tears.
care, we show we care. They want their one, that's the motto we live by. We place an emphasis on seeing our patients as quickly as possible without sacrificing quality in the care that each patient deserves. Our experienced orthopedic physicians, all of whom are surgeons, display a genuine interest in your personal health, a concern for your time, and a friendly, skilled staff are what you can expect every time you visit one of our offices in Arlington, Hyderville, and Olive Branch. Fast, quality care. That's the Ortho One difference. Check it out at ortho1.org.
Sonny Smith calling in. Can you hear me good? They just
Oh, yeah. Hey, you got big plans for tonight and the weekend? Stop by Cardosi Liquors, 3327 Jackson Avenue. Check out their supply of beer, liquor, and wine. They're open every day, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's Cardosi Liquor, 3327 Jackson Avenue.
Your new kitchen looks fabulous.
Mother,
I couldn't have done it without the Kitchens Unlimited team. They captured my style and kept it within my budget.
I just love the materials you use. Were you ever worried how it would look?
No, not at all. My designer provided detailed drawings and made sure I understood everything. Their great service continues after the install. I got a custom kitchen with the exact style and details I wanted.
Wow. It sounds like you're going to miss them.
Not for long, they also do back purchase.
You can reach the Kitchens Unlimited team at 3550 Summer Avenue or on the web at kitchensunlimited.com.
hey. SEC Network, SECsports.com. Mother. Hey, men's basketball. All right, Rob Brown back here with you on Sidelines on Friday afternoon. We're joined now by Sonny Smith, Hall of Fame coach Sonny Smith, SEC basketball report. He's the color man on the Auburn Basketball Network, and I know, Coach, the players are there at the Auburn International Airport, Robert G. Pitts Airport, about ready to fly to Knoxville. And Tigers got a tough one tomorrow at Tennessee. You're going up right in your backyard where you grew up in Roan Mountain, Tennessee, and you got to love going home. Hope a lot of your friends are coming.
State line as you are from Arkansas.
That's right. Hey, Coach, Wednesday night, tough loss at home. Auburn had a chance to go undefeated at home for the year. A&M came in, and Buzz Williams is getting better. He's a heck of a coach.
I think he's a candidate for Coach of the Year. I would put he and Coach Ball right up there for it. And maybe there's others, but in my eyes, it could be one of those two. Buzz has probably come farther less in the eyes of people. I'm not so sure that some of those guys that were there were underachieving before this. And I think that Flag and what's the big guy?
Josh Nebo.
Nebo, they both probably much better than everybody thought. Nebo really was like a load for us.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't push him out. We couldn't foul him out, and it did not. It was a load for us, really.
Coach, Tennessee, Rick Barnes, they're going to be, I'm sure, licking their chops to get another chance at Auburn. Auburn's won 4 straight games. A few weeks ago, Tennessee had a 17-point lead. Auburn came back and won. Big win on the road Tuesday night up in Lexington at Rupp Arena. Only 6 in history for Tennessee at Rupp Arena. I think that's the most of anybody in the SEC. Now they come back home to Thompson Bowling, 23,000. What do you expect from Tennessee? Just your typical 40 minutes dogfight?
Well, I expect anytime you've got a Rick Barnes team that, I mean, you got to play him. You better be ready to play 40 minutes. He's one of the best coaches in the SEC, but one of the best coaches in the country, actually. He's got a good basketball team. He's got the big guy in the middle playing well, and surrounding the perimeter with people that can shoot. And I think that Escovio, the foreign kid, has made a big impact on our team. And I just Thornton definitely has made an impact. And he's really good. He's improved more than anybody that I've seen in a long time. And Bowden is still there, a guy that's hard to deal with. Everybody is afraid of Tennessee, but especially at home, and I think we're about the same way.
Coach, you were talking a lot before and early on in the season and throughout the season about Mississippi State and Ben Howland. They're a big team, and there's not a lot of teams with that height and the number of tall players like that are good athletes at Mississippi State. What do you think they're capable of doing here at the end and in the tournament next week?
I called him Thornton is focusing.
Yeah, focusing, yeah.
Is a key, I think. I think if we can guard him, keep him down in less than double figures, and Austin can stay out of foul trouble, I think it's a game that our chances of winning would be much greater if that were to take place.
Yeah, SEC's gotten so much better, and I didn't mean to talk over, I think I did, but you talked a lot about Mississippi State, the height on that team, and they've gotten a lot better. Do you think they're capable of making a lot of noise in Nashville starting Wednesday?
Well, I think with their big guys, Curry, Adu, they can control the backboard on anybody. Those perimeter players, when they play good, they're a very difficult team to beat. And they really guard you, and they don't do it every time they get out there. When they really guard you, they're low. The bench is good. The perimeter shooting is real good. Carter seems to be getting better all the time. So you've got Mississippi State, who's a threat. It's the first time I've ever seen the leagues and talked about them where everybody's a threat. Could win it all except Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's capable of upsetting people.
Yeah, they did it against Alabama, but that was a shocker the other night in Tuscaloosa. In Alabama, you're right. That's a really good team. They've got 4 guys that would start for anybody in the SEC.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Are you speaking of Alabama?
Yes,
there?
yes.
Oh, there's no question. Alabama's been one of the most talented teams in the league all year, and they are almost every year. They have great players. They're real athletic. I think Alabama's deal depends on Petty, how good he can come back and play. If you got a 3-point shooter like Petty on your team, and you got a point guard like Lewis on your team, you really got something if you get any post play out of anybody. And I think they're fully capable of doing that.
Coach, another game tomorrow, 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS. Kentucky goes down in the swamp and plays at Florida. Kentucky's already won the SEC regular season championship, but for seeding purposes, this is a big game against Florida. What do you think about the game? Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I think Florida's capable of beating anybody, home or away. I don't think you always play up to their capabilities. Now, I can't say why. I haven't seen them enough. I know playing them down there how good they were. I think they're a talented team. I think I said on your show, you can't name a bad team. And
Right.
I think they've got their hands full with those folks.
They really do.
Kentucky, they may rest a little. I doubt it. With having won the championship, but I doubt it. They may not get up as much as they do for other games.
All right, now, and I know you're about to get on the plane and fly to Knoxville. Coach, real quick, by the way, when is the induction into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame? And again, congratulations from everybody listening.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be I've heard dates of July the 17th. I've heard dates of June the 7th. So I don't really know. But hey, I'm so fired up about it. I don't care when it is. I'll be there.
Hey, I love it. Listen, now I got a text coming in from one of our listeners on the show. He said, "Can you GPS Roan Mountain, Tennessee?"
You tell me GPS better be strong.
Coach, I got to tell you something funny.
We're the last town in East Tennessee going into North Carolina, Western North Carolina.
Yeah.
And it's a heavily populated area once you cross that line.
Yeah. The Tri-Cities.
We don't go across very often.
Yeah. Coach, I got to tell you something. My dad said when he was growing up, he had a cousin Thomas up in Centerville, Tennessee. Our family, his mother's side of the family, they refused to do two things: get a phone, and Uncle Thomas didn't like to wear shoes, and he was a very happy man, lived a long, happy life, and you're doing the same. And Coach, man, you're a legend and a treasure, but most of all, congratulations. And where, by the way, will the Hall of Fame induction be? Is that in Nashville?
In Nashville, and I don't know where. They haven't given me any instructions on that, but hey, I'll be there. I hope you can.
Hey, Governor Lee's an Auburn man. I'm going to come up there in July. Congratulations. Have a safe trip.
He's an Auburn man for sure. I met him when we went up to play at Vanderbilt, and we went out to the state capitol, and they gave us a run through, and he talked to the team, took pictures with us, and talked to everybody. You could tell he was an Auburn man for sure.
Mechanical engineer. And one other thing, true or false? Did you get an opportunity one time to be on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry?
I did, and I sung on the Grand Ole Opry.
What year? When was that?
I was introduced there before as a coach.
God.
I was introduced one time, and they handed me the microphone. Jerry Clower, the great comedian.
Oh my gosh!
Mississippi State graduate. He was the host that night, and he handed me the microphone. Said he heard I was a country singer, and I said I'm country, but I ain't no singer. And he handed me the microphone and asked me to sing, and I couldn't think of the name of the song. You know, I was so scared when he said that.
Yeah.
I stand out there in front of all those people. So I said I'll sing Rocky Top.
Oh, I love
it. Tennessee, you know, right in Nashville. And he handed me a thing, and the director of the band came over and said, "Coach, what key do we play this in?" I said, "Man, I don't know one key from another." He played it, and it was so high, I barely could reach. You know how you got to go Rocky Top.
Yep. That's right.
Well, I couldn't get it. And, but I got a tape of that thing. Somebody said, "Burn it," and I did. Well, it was a thrill for me just to walk out on the stage and Grand Ole Opry.
Hey, I'm a country music fanatic, but listening to WSM AM 650 out of Nashville since I was a kid, and love real country. Coach, you are the genuine article. Y'all have a safe trip, and I hope you can join us next week, and good luck tomorrow in Knoxville.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, we're going to be joined now for the SEC Baseball Report with Ben Clanton. Again, a man who has forgotten more than this entire listening audience knows about baseball. I love it. He is...
I don't know about that.
No, listen, Ben. This beautiful weather outside right now. It's actually sunny here in Memphis. A lot of baseball games going on this weekend all over the place. Before we get into the SEC, every week I want to try to get you to talk about the importance of getting your kids when they're young into the right program with the right coaches, because I know you and Jay and Quentin, good guys, you care about these kids, but gives the listeners each week some things that they should be looking for that can help the experience be positive.
Well, I think the first thing is they need experience in every sport. You know, I love baseball, but I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school, and I wouldn't trade those memories for the world. But as you talk about baseball, get them in a T-ball program, whether that be your church or in the Germantown Baseball League, the Collierville Baseball League. But as you grow older and you get into coach pitch, you know, there are competitive coach pitch teams, the Tigers, the Giants, the Dragons, all those competitive teams. But for myself and most of the people I respect in baseball, we kind of held off on the competitive route till you get to kid pitch where the game really changes. But we did 2 years at Germantown Baseball League and loved it. I know Quentin has a team. He's coaching there. And another guy we work with, William Cox, he's got a team there. But I think that's the kind of the time that you want to get them elevated. And you play Germantown Baseball League. You play 20 to 25 games. Now, competitively this year, I'll probably play 50, but it's all in tournaments. There's no games, during the week, which is different than when I grew up. But it's good for the kids. But I want every kid to play every sport. Get those muscles working, get everything working, so that we're not having Tommy John surgery at 13.
Good point. And all the players that you see going on in high school and college, and eventually minor and Major League Baseball, that's where they start. But it's all about the foundation. Let's go down to the SEC and the Division I rankings that are out there. As always, the SEC has a lot of teams, in the top 25. Florida's sitting there at number 1 right now. Vanderbilt number 2. Georgia at 4. Ole Miss at 9. Arkansas at 13. And I'm just scrolling down the list right now. Mississippi State at 18. Yeah, Auburn at 19. Tennessee at 20. LSU at 21. That's just the top 25. And you know that LSU, Mississippi State, and Auburn are going to start gaining ground. How much can you read into losses this early in the season when you think about how long a college baseball season can be? It could go to the end of June.
Well, right now, I mean, you look at an Alabama and a Tennessee. Both of them are 13-0. If you scroll through who they played, and they have played literally nobody that's really ranked or worthy of being up there. Mississippi State has a little bit tougher schedule. Ole Miss has had a pretty tough schedule. LSU, I think they played 1 series, but you look at Florida, they're 13-0. They swept Miami, and I think it was at Miami. They played some competition. So you'll see this is the last weekend before conference play starts. Then you'll kind of see the rubber meet the road with Tennessee and Alabama. And not to say they're bad teams, but, you run into a Florida, LSU, Mississippi State, and Mississippi State's dealing with some injuries right now. JT Ginn, their ace pitcher, went down for the season with a sore arm. And then you got Tanner Allen, who's probably their best position player. He's out with a wrist surgery for at least 3 weeks. And LSU is just not hitting. And that'll turn around. I mean, they've got too much talent down there. But those are the 2 teams. Mississippi State and LSU kind of falling behind. Arkansas is falling behind a little bit. But they'll catch up when conference play sets. I mean, as you go through the midweek games, all that does is demonstrate your depth. Because you're not going to play for Friday, Saturday, Sunday starters in a midweek game. And the teams that can dominate those midweek games are the teams that are top to bottom really good, like Florida is.
And Ben, I want to ask you a question real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Tim Hudson, longtime major leaguer, played at Auburn, was a heck of a player in college. He was an All-American as an outfielder and a pitcher. Of course, you don't see that once you get in the majors. There's too much invested in his arm. But Auburn is looking like they've got some depth this year pitching because they have been able to throw some guys and some good pitchers in midweek games where in the past it was almost like a given that a decent team, Auburn was just going to not really do well. They were going to save everything for the conference. Why is it so hard to find quality pitchers that can help you in a league like the SEC? Because there's a lot of baseball players out there, and you can go to other countries and get them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to find. Everybody's struggling for pitching, except for Vanderbilt, I think.
Yeah.
They just got an embarrassment of riches. But it's hard to find pitching at any level. You look at my 9-year-old, it's hard to find pitching. As you get older and older and older, it gets harder and harder to find pitchers that, A, can stay healthy, and B, that can compete at a level you need them to be. Now, the SEC does a really good job of finding those pitchers, and they recruit nationally. But every level, it's hard to find pitching. And that's why you see some of these guys in the major leagues that hang around for 20, 22 years in bullpens because it's hard to find a left-hander that those folks and has movement.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a tough thing to find pitching.
And like, what is that as far as pitchers go? You start out in college, you're going to throw once a week, your Friday, Saturday, Sunday pitchers. In just a few years back, the SEC would play a Saturday doubleheader and one game on Sunday. How much has that changed the way you use your pitchers and prep them for these Friday, Saturday, Sunday series? Or has it been a big deal at all?
No, I think it has been a big deal. And one of the biggest deals is it protects your bullpens. When you're throwing a doubleheader in some of these games you get in the SEC and you're throwing 5 or 6 guys out of the bullpen, if you play a doubleheader, you're not going to be able to protect your bullpen as well. Now you can throw a guy 2 innings on Friday, come back to him on Sunday and throw an inning, and then you got your Saturday guys. They've got it. I mean, as with every major Division I sport and professional sport, it is all spreadsheet driven, and they're looking at the numbers and who matches up with who. And it's I think it's made a huge difference, and it's probably kept scores down some as well.
You look at the college baseball programs, Florida, Georgia, there's tons of athletes down there. Kentucky's made a rise, but again, this year they don't look to be that strong. But there's players, tons of them out there. Like I say, everybody struggles with pitching. Let's look now at teams that you think are kind of hanging out there, kind of lagging back, that you think are going to be really strong once we get to conference play. You mentioned Alabama. They're 13-0 in Tennessee. They haven't really played anybody. And again, what's the advantage of playing soft competition in the preseason? I would equate that to if you're going to run a 10K in Knoxville, not doing any hill work.
Right. Well, that's why they tend to struggle. But that program, or those programs, Tennessee and Alabama, have traditionally struggled within conference play. So they want to get as many wins as possible so they can get into that NCAA tournament. I mean, there have been years in the past where a team that hasn't made the SEC tournament, because they only take 10, they haven't made the SEC tournament yet they made the NCAA regionals.
Yeah.
And that's because they stacked up those wins, and they do get a big-time pass for the schedule they play in conference. But I'm with you. I mean, Mississippi State has played. They went out to Long Beach State, played them one. They lost 2 out of 3, but that's getting you ready for the regionals and the super regionals. And that's why I think the teams like LSU, Mississippi State, Arkansas, they all tend to rise during the regionals and super regionals when they play teams from other parts of the country, because they have that backbone where they can go, okay, hey, we've done this, we know this, we can do it.
Yeah. Ben, that's one thing. Fans in the South know baseball. They know college baseball. They love it. And you look at the crowd attendance. Mississippi State, the king of them all. LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas. It's just amazing. Then you look at Florida and Georgia and Miami and Auburn. 3,000-4,000 at a game. That's kind of what you see over there. But the importance of baseball, college baseball, it's been important, especially Mississippi State and Ole Miss and LSU, for a long time. And 2 years ago, Mississippi State had 7 pitchers. I talked to you about this a lot. 7 pitchers injured, and they still made it to the College World Series. How in the world does that happen?
that was
crazy.
Round right there. That was, I mean, it's unbelievable that they were able to make that happen.
Yeah.
But they, we've talked about it, I think, last week. Mississippi State, the kids that they target are maybe, and they get great recruiting classes, top 10, top 15 all the time. But they get the smaller school kids that love the game of baseball, love Mississippi State, and they will do anything and everything for that university. But you talk about attendance. I mean, Ole Miss and Mississippi State and LSU are always at the top of the heat. I mean, they'll get over 30,000 for a weekend series, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and Arkansas, I think, is adding on, or at least they're going to do some more luxury seating up there at Baum Stadium, and beautiful backdrop into the Ozark Mountains up there. But it is when Ole Miss and Mississippi State play in Oxford, there'll be 40,000 plus on a 3-game series, and you're talking. What is the 15,000 plus at Starkville, which means you could have 50,000 in a 3-game series when Ole Miss and State play in Stark Vegas. And again, you got to think. And again, Ben mentioned Sid Swaminathan is writing a book about the history of SEC baseball. He's consulting with Ron Polk, legendary Mississippi State coach, and I think he's now volunteer coaching or doing some coaching at UAB. But he is the father of SEC baseball. He and Skip Bertman really got it going. And hey, Ben, last thing. Over the weekend, any games, college baseball games, SEC or national, of interest that fans ought to be watching? I'll let you go.
Not really. One thing I did want to say about Ron Polk, if you want to learn baseball, look on Amazon and just Google baseball playbook. It's a book that Ron Polk did, I think, back in the 80s, early 80s, and it literally goes through how to coach, how to play, how to pitch, drills, everything you ever want to know about baseball. It's in it. It's fantastic. But as far as games this week, especially in the SEC, there's no real tough games. Everybody is kind of scheduled a cupcake just because they know the meat grinder of the SEC schedule is about to come. So I don't think there's a single SEC team playing somebody that's, of note. And that's pretty much the way they do it around the country, just to get ready for the conference schedules.
Well, yeah, and I love the rise of college baseball because it trickles down to high school, middle school, and where you are with your son and Quentin and William and Stubbs. Bottom line is, it's the annuity. We're annuitizing the future of college baseball. Sans the paperwork, of course. Anyway, thank you so much.
My high school coach said, he said on our senior night last game we had, he said, some of y'all will never play baseball again, but just think about how much it's given to you and do anything you can to give back to the game of baseball because it's given a lot.
There's no more fun than sitting out at a baseball game, drinking a road soda, eating a hot dog, and barbecue nachos and whatever. There's nothing. But Ben, you are as important to this show as John Bonham was to Led Zeppelin, but I want you to live a lot longer, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a great weekend, y'all. Have a great practice in the morning. Real quick, before we go to Jimmy Ott, we're going to talk some LSU basketball, baseball, football, but let me say something about some of our sponsors. Pimentos, 6450 Poplar Avenue. Go there, 3751 South Houston Levee. They're open every day of the week till 9 p.m. Pimentos, Grill, and Market. They have a full bar at both locations. Don't forget Holiday Ham, 4 Memphis locations, Holiday Ham and Pimentos. Pimentos has great burgers, wings, they have quesadillas, they have a full catering bar, the best taco bar around. Check them out, Pimentos. Rocky's Alterations, 1866 Poplar Crest Cove, behind Mecca Eye Care. Rocky's Alterations, men's and women's clothing, men's sports coats, blazers, dress shirts, they've got it all. And let's thank our title sponsor, Duncan Williams Asset Management. Since 1969, they've been in Memphis, getting stronger, keep grinding every year. DWAM, check them out on our website, Duncan Williams Asset Management. See them on our website at sidelines.live. We'll be right back talking Little Tigers with Jimmy Ott, the Ott father.
Hey,
listeners, it's Chris Murphy with Inman Murphy Termite and Pest Control. It's been a mild winter, so the bugs are going to be bad. And you know we're here to take care of you and your home. Give us a call today at 388-0852. That's 388-0852. And we can handle all the termites, ants, mosquitoes, and everything in between. It's going to be bad. You need to be prepared. Don't let the bugs ruin your summer. Give us a call today at 388-0852. That's 388-0852. Or check us out on the web at inman-murphy.com and take charge of your home.
Whether it's installing motion detector lights, a home theater system, security cameras, or you can't up the new TV you just bought, George Gaddis can. Go online and make an appointment today. That's GATTAS, GaddisHomeInnovations.com. Family owned and in business since 1972, Matei's Garage is best known for providing quality automotive repair at a fair and reasonable price. We can accommodate most makes and models, including European and Asian vehicles, as well as all American makes. Our services include everything from basic maintenance, such as oil service and tires, to major engine and transmission service. Located at 4930 Black Road in East Memphis, near Clark Tower, Matei's Garage is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And I've known Larry Cervetti, a 1982 Christian Brothers High School graduate, and 1986 graduate of the University of Tennessee, for 42 years. It's hard to find someone better than Larry. He's as good as it gets. Check him out on our website, mateisgarage.com.
Sounds a little like Sid Vicious in the punk rock era. That I'm old enough to remember what that was like. And hey, with Audrey doing the bump music, you never know what you're going to get. She's still on double secret probation for that offense violation 3 weeks ago, Snakeskin Cowboy, when she played Air Supply. You got to be kidding me. Who played this? That's what always happens when you play something on the jukebox down at the tavern. Song like Air Supply. You're all out of love. You got to be kidding me. That's an offense. But anyway, Jimmy Ott is on the show with us right now from Baton Rouge, ESPN 104.5. And Jimmy, we're still in basketball season. Baseball season's getting cranked up. And LSU, we were just talking with Ben Clanton, our SEC baseball guy. It's a great time of year. Spring practice is starting tomorrow in Baton Rouge. Amazing how quickly it got here right after the national championship, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And look, man, it's going to be a little step back next year. I mean, you have a record 16 players at the combine, and for the most part, and most of the guys did really, really well. Christian Colton ran a good 40 time. Justin Jefferson ran a faster 40 time than C.D. Lamb of Oklahoma. And also Jerry Judy of Alabama. So he solidified his spot as the first pick. And that's with a very, very good class of receivers. You know, they're probably going to have 5 first-round draft picks. The record is 6 by Miami in 2006. They may beat or tie Ohio State's record for 14 overall picks drafted, period. That's the same draft in 2006. It's going to be very close to both of those. So what does that mean? I mean, that means if you lose a lot. Well, you also lose in your most important offensive assistant in Joe Brady. You go support defensive assistant and Dave Aranda. And, you know, that's what happens. You need success. You raise your staff and good players move on. And, you know, maybe the best quarterback season ever in college football in Joe Burrow. So they're going to be good. They got some players that, you know, they have talent, okay? They had a very good recruiting class. Top 5 class ever. Only 6 Louisiana signees. So that was even before they had the national championship season to sell. So
there's a lot of things to tell. They're going to have a great class next year, and probably a really good one the year after that. But this year, you have to be realistic. They're trying to downplay it. They're trying to say all the right things. But I call it a championship hangover. And it's just real. I mean, it is hard to get kids 18 to 20 years old that, motivated and really committed in the offseason when they accomplished so much stuff the year before. So it's exciting. I mean, magical season. But it's going to be an uphill climb. I mean, it might be one of those years where, hey, you beat some teams, like you probably beat Alabama. You can play well, but you might lose to, an Ole Miss or Mississippi State if you don't play so well. So, a little step back, but for those that are realistic around here at Baton Rouge.
Last year, LSU threw, 55 or more touchdown passes. Go back in the previous 6 or 7 seasons, how many touchdown passes did LSU throw combined?
They threw 60 last year. That's a 16-game schedule.
Okay.
60.
Okay.
The year before, with Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase, with Terrace Marshall, with Thaddeus Moss, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All those guys were on the same team. The first 12 games of the regular season, Joe Burrow threw 11. Okay? Less than 1 a game. Now, Central Florida's a fraud, okay? I mean, they're not legit. Sorry. They run you on parade. Usually when you got to run your mouth so much about something, it's really not there. And they threw for 5 against them and give them 16 on the year. But 11, less than 1 a game, he throws for 60. That's playing 7 top 10 teams. I mean, so it's a magical season. People are still pinching themselves. But Miles Brennan's going to get the chance to start. But, and listen, he throws a better ball than Joe. He's not as accurate. He's not as tough. He's not as agile. Not as athletic. I mean, all this stuff. What we're hoping for is that, just for osmosis only, that Miles Brennan has picked up the work ethic, or the film study, the leadership attributes that Joe Burrow had, because he was just so special. And I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that, but a lot of things behind the scenes. Tell me another team in college football that had practices on Saturday. Now it's students. I mean, it's players only because they have a 20-hour limit, but they practice on game days. The offense did. I mean, this guy was a full-time player. He had 1 online class because he had already graduated, and they just followed his lead. But that was the exception. He was very, very special, as you all know.
Yeah, and people are going to be asking a lot of questions. How good is Miles Brennan? Why didn't he's been there a long time? Why hadn't he been able to get in there? And Joe Brady's gone, but if you would expand on, Steve Ensminger was very quiet last year. God love him, man. What he experienced on the day of the championship, losing his daughter-in-law, and he has a lot of people, Jimmy, that are at Auburn that really care about him. Tommy Tuberville's going to be on here with us at 4:30. He's very close to Steve Ensminger. And I hope he knows how many people care about him and had his family in their prayers and always will. He is a damn good football coach, isn't he?
This is a college football coach. He's very, very confident, very, flat out egotistical. But Steve's lack of ego made it all work, okay? So I don't know how much longer, with everything that's going on, that Steve wants to do this, to be honest. Listen, we know Steve personally. His daughter-in-law who passed, she ran our board. That was her first assignment on our radio station. She ran our board. She produced our show. She was on her way to bigger and better things. And, and his daughter works for us at Guarantee as well. We know the Ensmingers well, and he's just as real and as, an anti-self-promoter. I mean, the down player, and it kind of made it work. And Joe Brady will be the first one to tell you that, man. I'm so young, but he was open to my ideas. And he was calling the plays, okay? Ensminger was calling the plays. And so the approach should not change. Man, you've got some great receivers. Offensive line is going to be a little question mark coming in. But they made it so much easier on their offensive line, which was a questionable unit going into last year. and they win the Joe Moore Award for the best unit in college football. So that less means more, because getting the ball out quicker, having 5-man protection on 85% of the snaps. That's what they did, and they did it very well. And I don't see Steve getting away from that. Miles took all this in Brennan, and so I'm expecting the approach is something I knew from the Georgia Southern game. Yeah, you're going to play tougher teams. We'll see if you can beat them, but the approach, the tempo, just spread it out, making it getting the ball out quicker, which I think that whole getting the ball out quicker approach was more suited to Miles Brennan even to Burrow. So there are some things he just has to grow, and now it's a 4 year. And listen, we've seen guys, whether it's Rohan Davis, he was okay, and his senior year, he let it rip. Jason Campbell at Auburn, okay, his senior year, they're 13, they're 12-0. They let it rip. And, there's others too. Burrow, his senior year. And so Burrow, with Miles Brennan with the time, it's only you got to just take a thumb of what Joe was doing. And I think he's just trying to try and mimic it. Being his own personality, not being Joe's personality, but being the work ethic and the time that was invested. They called it the 10,000 ball summer. Every receiver caught 10,000 balls over the summer, and I could see the same thing happening this summer.
Look, and you look at LSU. Every year they're going to have great athletes. You talked a lot this past year that it wasn't a great year for high school football in Louisiana. But my man Quentin Stein up here, the pride of DeRidder, Louisiana. They own the Stein's Home, Lawn, and Garden. And big LSU fan, I work with him. He said, ask Jimmy Ott, the Ott father, about a freshman from Baton Rouge. By the way, Jimmy, I love to crush numbers and crunch them and do analytics. Per capita, what city in America is producing the number of big-time athletes that Baton Rouge is? And but Derek Stingley Jr. was a freshman, true freshman, first-team All-American last year for LSU. But a kid from Memphis that Ben Clanton coached, he was just on before you with SEC Baseball Report, from MUS, great kid. I've had so many people tell me great things about him. Freshman at LSU. He played some nickelback late in the season. He's now starting, I think, at left field with the baseball team. But how good is LSU secondary going to be? We all know it starts up front with the pass rush, but you got Bo Pelini coming in, and I'm sure he's well aware of the pantry full of good groceries.
Maurice Hampton's got a real bright future. First place in scrimmage in the semifinal against Oklahoma, he just laid a lick on Jalen Hurts. Maurice Hampton is a versatile player. He did everything at the high school level, as you guys probably know, okay? Catching balls, returning punts, playing DB. Just whatever. He was in part of it. Now, he's not going to be participating in spring football at all. He's going to be a full-time baseball player. And Ogeron talked about that, and that's what he promised. That was part of the deal in the recruiting process. That's one of the things that makes Ogeron such a good recruiter. He's not going to go back on his word. And so Hampton's going to concentrate on that. But I think it's very important for him to get settled in that safety position. So Jacoby Stevens, who I think will wear number 18 this year, is kind of the leader, sort of a team captain type of jersey number that started with Jacob Hester in Matt Moss. It's going to allow Jacoby Stevens to do what he does best. And he's at the line of scrimmage to get to Nashville. And that's a 5-star journey that a lot of kids in the era of the transfer portal will probably, jump ship. But man, he had a great year, and he was a leader, a vocal leader as well. And he is the best tackler on the team. He was last year. He will definitely be this year. But he does his best work at the line of scrimmage. Kind of like a Thomas Davis who played safety at Georgia. Outstanding linebacker in the NFL with Carolina. Mark Barron, big safety in Alabama, was moved to linebacker at Tampa Bay and has had a nice career. I expect the same type of NFL future for Jacoby Stevens. But Hampton is going to be a big part of what LSU does in the fall. But this spring, he's going to be a full-time baseball player.
We'll be seeing him because LSU baseball is front page every day. All right, one last question. Defensive lineman. LSU, you go back, there's so many of them, Glenn Dorsey, Booger McFarland, Marcus Spears. Last year, I think people misinterpreted, or I don't think they were aware, when you run an offense as fast as what LSU was running, you're not going to have a lockdown defense. But when it mattered, LSU started taking out a 80-gallon drum of you-know-what, and they took no prisoners. Who are some of the defensive linemen that are out there on the periphery that people may not be familiar with that you look to step forward in the spring?
Well, the defensive lineman, the big deal is you're going from Miranda, who was a 3-4, to Delaney, who's a 4-3. And so that's the biggest thing. And so you look at that front seven, you think, who's going to be different? They're going to play Tyler Shelvin, who's standing nose tackle, highly recruited. Those run was always high on him. But he finally got in better shape this year, and he was a monster inside. I think the defensive linemen from Salt Lake City will be backing him up. But those guys are going to be really, really tough inside, and they're going to be Shelvin in his last year this year. There's going to be another high pick. I mean, he really had a lot of push. Other than that, you're looking at, it's a transition we have to see, and they're not pulling. I mean, Orlando was most comfortable with 3-4, and that's what he went with, and that's Delaney the 4-3. But it's just Marcel Brooks, who was a special edge rusher, really good edge rusher on passing down. He's playing linebacker, but, on those third downs, you got to do what he does best, put him in that same capacity. You lose Calavian Jackson, you lose Lawrence, who was a real leader as well, when Rashard Lawrence. It could be a lot of new names, but they do have some guys there. And, yes, you're right about the offense. We don't judge so much on total defense because LSU was playing 15 possessions a game for each team, as opposed to the average of like 11, because they were scoring so quick at 2 minutes of possession. But we looked at success rates at, of course, field goal attempts as opposed to touchdowns. And LSU was very, very good this past season in that. They just gave up more yards because they were on the field more snaps and they were on the field for more possessions. But the defense, overall, thinks they're going to be very good. It's still a little bit of a transitional year, going from the 3-4 to the 4-3.
All right, one last question. If you or Coach O wanted to go out in Baton Rouge, we got a lot of people listening that are LSU fans. Everybody knows New Orleans. Baton Rouge, though, we know the names, Mike Anderson's and whatever. If you or Coach O, let's say he said, I'm going out and I want to take a 5-star recruit, and he said he loves Louisiana food, hadn't had that much of it, but he's from Atlanta and he wants some real food. What's the best place to go in Baton Rouge? Because I love Cajun food. If it swims, flies, crawls, or runs, I'll eat it, but there's nothing better than Louisiana cooking than Cajun cooking.
Well, that's part of the deal when we do. I've been doing my show on location at a different restaurant for 25 years straight. I'm allergic to the studio. Okay, so let's get that. I should be 500 pounds as much as I eat. But anyway, every Friday is Rapinos, man, and they do. I mean, they will see 700 people on a Friday night before an LSU home game, and it's award-winning. They do an awesome job. Louisiana Lanyap is another one of my great sponsors. And year after year, win best overall restaurant, best Canadian Creole, best seafood. So start with those two, man, Rapinos, and there's a new one too, Rouge Creole, which is Perkins Road, which is a nice development as well, man. You can't go wrong, bro. Look, you let me know when you're coming down here. I'm going to put you on some spot. Don't you worry about that.
I love it. My great-great-grandfather, I want to go down to St. Charles Avenue. He's buried at Christ Episcopal Church, Bishop Polk, first Episcopal bishop in Louisiana. I love it down there. And I'm going to tell you something. I was almost an LSU fan, but I've always loved y'all's Tigers. Like I said, grew up listening 870 with John Ferguson and the LSU Tigers. Jimmy, join us again next week, man. Love your report. Go Tigers.
Okay, man.
All right, thanks so much. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Jimmy Hodge, one of our top contributors from Chicago, talking some SEC and college football.
It's the the chances I'm taking. Sometimes I'm not being down, but you're not great.
We don't just say we care, we show we care. At Ortho One, that's the motto we live by. We place an emphasis on seeing our patients as quickly as possible, without sacrificing quality in the care that each patient deserves. Our experienced orthopedic physicians, all of whom are surgeons, display a genuine interest in your personal health. A concern for your time and a friendly, skilled staff are what you can expect every time you visit one of our offices in Arlington, Collierville, and Olive Branch. Fast, quality care. That's the Ortho One difference. Check them out at ortho1.org.
If you have a crash, then on ding, go to GE Patterson and BBG. Become more inspiration.
Hey, you got big plans for tonight or the weekend? Stop by Cardosi Liquors, 3327 Jackson Avenue. Check out their supply of beer, liquor, and wine. They're open every day, 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. That's Cardosi Liquor, 3327 Jackson Avenue.
Your new kitchen looks fabulous.
I couldn't have done it without the Kitchens Unlimited team. They captured my style and kept it within my budget.
I just love the materials you use. Were you ever worried how it would look?
No, not at all. My designer provided detailed drawings and made sure I understood everything. Their great service continues after the install. I got a custom kitchen with the exact style and details I wanted.
Wow, it sounds like you're going to miss them.
Not for long. They also do bathrooms.
You can reach the Kitchens Unlimited team at 3550 Summer Avenue.
What'd you do at the teacher?
kitchensunlimited.net.
Talking. All right, Rob Brown back here on the sidelines with you. You know while we're doing the bump music there, I'm going to tell you what. God, Jimmy Ott is awesome. I don't care if you're an LSU fan or not. That guy gets you so fired up. He is always on electricity. I mean, when you get him on the radio, it's like hooking up to a generator with Hoover Dam behind it. LSU Tigers, a lot of great things going on. Now, let's head up north. The city of New Orleans, on the way we're going north to Chicago. Jimmy Hodge, one of the top minds in all of America, college football, SEC college games. Jimmy, man, I tell you, just listening to Jimmy Ott, spring practice kicks off tomorrow down in Baton Rouge, and it never stops, does it?
No, it never does. And when you're coming off the type of season they had, it's understandable. Everybody remotely involved with the program is going to be fired up, and rightfully so.
All right now, you look around the SEC, everybody's going to be gunning for LSU. Perhaps the greatest season, and people now are saying that LSU season this past year and the 1995 Nebraska team, 1995 or 97 Nebraska team, maybe the best two teams ever. We know the pressure is going to be on them. Alabama goes 11-2, and they're ashamed and embarrassed because their standards are so high. The last 12 years, they've averaged 12 wins a season. Georgia, Kirby Smart, he's taken Scott Cochran, the strength coach from Alabama, over to Athens. He's now going to be a special teams coach. I guess he's going to take a pay cut because if Kirby pays Scott Cochran $600 plus as a special teams coach, I'm going back and getting my master's in physical education and taking up coaching. So a lot of changes in the SEC. Chad Morris supposedly is going to be calling all the plays at Auburn. That's what Gus says. But Dan Mullen and Florida, they're going to be back. Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin, they come into the league. Sam Pittman's over at Arkansas. And my man Jeremy Pruitt, who I think is building something really special for the long term. I mean, I'm leaving people out. Jimbo at Texas A&M. Let's start writing the narrative, Jimmy. I'll let you go.
Well, it's never boring, and with the coaching changes, I think you've had a significant upgrade across the board there. And just thinking about Kiffin and Mike Leach, only an hour 45 minutes apart. I mean, that right there pretty much has the state of Mississippi abuzz, and there's just not going to be a boring month. Spring ball is going to be anticipated at just about every stop in the SEC. People are going to be on top of everything day to day, ranging from quarterback competitions to, how a lot of these newcomers that are expected to be contributors are developing literally each day of spring practice. And that's just how intense the SEC fan bases are. And 2020 should be just a dynamite year, and you combine all the unknowns, because you don't ever know how good a team is going to be until they go out there and face other SEC teams. And in this case, there's going to be some really exciting non-conference matchups too early in the year.
Alabama will open up September 5th, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The Crimson Tide and the Southern Cal Trojans. Man, that's 50 years ago, 1970. Sam the Bam Cunningham, John McKay as Southern Cal came in, beat Alabama, in Birmingham at Legion Field. But it really changed football in the South forever. Kentucky had already brought in black players to play football, and I think Tennessee did. Then you get out of the Deep South, it changed everything. And it did more to integrate the South than anything, college football. That's a big-time game. Steve Sarkisian was out there at Southern Cal, and Clay Hilton, they wrote him off for dead. In fact, they picked out his burial suit. They even had the flowers ordered, but he got to stay. They've had two terrible athletic directors in a row at Southern Cal, haven't they?
Yeah, they've actually had 2 or 3 more than that. It's just been a bizarre sequence of administrators from the very top. I mean, they brought in Carol Folt from UNC to try to stop the bleeding, and I think USC could have very well made a move had they not made a change at president. And I think the new president there decided that she wanted some stability, and I guess in her initial meetings was impressed with Hilton, and they decided, instead of just making a big splash and changing everything right off the get-go, she wanted to let a season transpire and just see where they were, as December 2020 when that comes up.
All right, let's look around in the country. Another program I want to focus on, Michigan. Now, they're the winningest team in the history of college football. I swim with a guy in the morning, swim every morning before work, get up at 5:30. It's awesome. Gerald is from Detroit, retired Navy guy. He's my age. He's not very old. Big Michigan fan. And they've lost 15 of the last 16, as I said, to Ohio State. And you got Jim Harbaugh up there, who tried to make everybody in the South not like him. But he had success at San Diego State, at Stanford, in the NFL. He comes back to Michigan. Big Ten schools are notoriously cheap. History proves that. Okay, but they're paying him a lot of money at Michigan. Why can't Michigan get it together? And why is Ohio State so far ahead of them?
Well, they've
been consistently winning at a very high level. And I really thought when Urban left that this would be a golden opportunity for Michigan maybe to dramatically close the gap. But I got to tell you, I just can't say enough how impressed I've been with Ryan Day and the job he did his opening season, because during the Urban Meyer years, they would win 11, 12 games, but they would always lay an egg. You know, you give up 55 to Iowa, an unranked Big Ten opponent that knocks you out of the playoffs. You give up 49 to an unranked Purdue team 2 years ago. It knocks you out of the playoffs. You can't lose by 5 touchdowns to an unranked conference opponent and get into the playoffs. And in those games, just defensively, it appeared they were just in another state or something. They were just defenders completely out of position. And this past year, he brought in Jeff Hafley, who had coached at 2 or 3 different NFL stops with Chip Kelly with the Eagles and 49ers. And that defense just looked like night and day. They brought in a couple of assistants from Michigan, and they never had defenders out of position last year. You knew under that regime they weren't giving up 55 to unranked conference opponents. And Hafley, after just one season, took the Boston College job, and so Dave's made another move. But just judging from the caliber of their coaching staff last year, I've got to think there's not going to be a big drop-off. But with Ryan Day at Ohio State, I tell you, I see them being every bit as good as they were under Meyer, and maybe even better. I mean, I was that impressed with the job they did last year.
They really did. And Michigan has the original Big House, 110,000. They sell out every game. It's just unbelievable, the support that they have. Basketball and baseball, softball, the money. They have a $5 billion campaign they go on for fundraising. Amazing. Great business school and all. A lot of money. Hey, it helps to have all that old money from the car business right there, Bloomingfield Hills, Birmingham, and just incredible. Let's flip over around. I want to go down to Texas. When liberal elite pinheads who are dismissive of the importance of college athletics are in charge, and that's what's happened in Miami with Donna Shalala. Texas, I mean, what do you got? Michael Stivic, the meathead in charge out there? Stifle yourself. How in the world, in a state like Texas, can the university sit there and watch as imbeciles take charge, and for 10 straight years they've lost 4 or more games? I think Tom Herman is a terrible fit at Texas. Jimbo, he lost control at Florida State of the discipline with Jameis Winston. I said it at the time. That's a bad precedent, and it'll sink that program. Texas now is close, I think 29 million people they're saying now. What's wrong with Texas? Now, Oklahoma, they run roughshod through, but they lost to Kansas State last year, and LSU destroyed them in the playoffs. What's wrong with Texas? And then we'll go next to Oklahoma. Why can't they play enough defense to get in the playoffs?
Well, I think in fairness to Herman, they were absolutely decimated by injuries last year. I know when they played LSU in the second game of the year, they were missing 2 or 3 starters in their secondary. And by the time they played Oklahoma about a month later, they were so short of running backs that they had to switch a quarterback over to running back, and he was their leading rusher for the year. As a matter of fact, he had a 70-yard touchdown run against Oklahoma, and they were really just trying to plug holes everywhere. And I know injuries are part of the game. I mean, just ask Alabama on the defensive side of the ball last year and how that can affect you, especially at key positions in the scheme. But they really did get hit hard last year. And then you combine the fact that you're Texas, everybody's gunning for you, and it was really an ugly year for them. There's no doubt about it. But I would not be surprised if they come in and have a solid year. I did not think Todd Orlando was the guy to be their defensive coordinator, and they were, just not nearly as good as they should be. But I see some improvement. But when you come down to it, Rob, the 85 scholarship limit obviously averages 21 players a year, but you get a limit of 25, and it's just normal that you're going to have attrition, be it academically or just some players aren't used to competing against players that are as good as they are because they've always competed against players that haven't been as good as they are their life. But with 21 players per year, you cannot make evaluation mistakes, and that means that a lot of other schools have access to good players. And you combine the fact, I think, with the fact that college football offensively has become a space game. And that is the key is getting your skill position players the ball out in space, one-on-one. And in many cases, that defender is going to come up on the short end. And I think, and Mike Leach is a perfect example, he has mastered the skill of coaching at a school like Texas Tech or Washington State, where you don't have the talent that you have at a lot of other schools, but he uses the whole football field to get the ball to his skill position players in space, which is what the air raid offense does, and it allows teams like that to compete on a level playing field. And the rules obviously help the offense.
All right, Mike Leach, let's talk about him. He is at Mississippi State now, and that's a school that has never had any problem getting big, physical linemen on offense and defense. He's never had that kind of talent that he's going to have at Starkville when he was at Texas Tech or Washington State, not in my opinion. That offense, when he's played Ole Miss in the Cotton Bowl, 2008, Ole Miss won 47-34, I believe it was, just blew up the line of scrimmage of Texas Tech, Ole Miss's front seven. And they didn't have a great defense. They were pretty darn good. What do you think Leach is going to do? He's very smart. He's an attorney. That doesn't mean he's smart, but he is a smart, and he's a very good attorney. What's he going to do to help Mississippi State get to Atlanta, play for the SEC championship?
Well, one thing would be to hope that maybe LSU, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Auburn decided maybe to join another conference. That's a big obstacle. I mean, the SEC West has been the dominant division in college football for really the better part of 15 years now. So that's clearly an obstacle. But I think, though, that college football fans are knowledgeable. Ole Miss State fans, they know where they are in the pecking order, and they know how good the other schools are in the division. But I think they also realize that with these scholarship limits, everybody has a chance to get good football players. And I think they're really excited about Leach's track record, his offensive genius, actually, and that if you can score points be competitive. And I think fan bases, when they're in state's position, they want to be competitive, but yet they want to play a style of football that's entertaining to watch. And I think when you're able to attain some success, it gives your players a lot of confidence. And again, a lot of these kids, they don't know the history of a lot of these other schools. So once they start to have some success, I don't think they give a lot of thought to who their opponent is or what their history is.
Yeah.
And I think that can oftentimes even the playing field. And again, when you have a coaching staff that has a history of coaching teams up,
Yeah.
that's a big advantage.
It is. Jimmy, hold with it. I'm going to do some, talk about some of our sponsors, so just hang with me for just a minute. Duncan Williams Asset Management. We are very, very fortunate to have Duncan Williams Asset Management as our title sponsor for Sidelines. Since 1969, they've been on the Memphis scene. Duncan Williams Asset Management. Check them out on our website, sidelines.live. We love them. They are our title sponsor. Let's also say thank you to Pimentos, 6450 Poplar Avenue and 3751 South Houston Lady in Collierville. They have quesadillas and margaritas on Monday, beer and burgers on Tuesdays. They've got great burgers. The black and blue burger, the French fry burger. Man, that's good. I thought they only had that from Andy's up there in the warehouse district in Pittsburgh, Jimmy. They've got great food, wings. They got a 901 cheesesteak that rocks. Now, I had my man Pete Cordelli in a couple of days ago for lunch, and I said, Pete, you're from Scranton. By the way, you know Dwight Schrute or Jim or Michael Scott. But anyway, that's an incredible cheesesteak. Pimentos, great catering. That taco bar is elite. It is incredible. You need to check with Heather Choate over at Pimentos. They're open every day until 9 p.m. Check them out, 6450 Poplar Avenue, 3751 South Houston Levy in Collierville. And don't forget Holiday Ham. That's where this all started. The ham, the pimento cheese. Trey Jordan, his dad, Don Jordan, in 1993. Holiday Ham and Pimentos. God love them. Go check them out. Great food. I'll be there for dinner tonight. And also Rocky's Alteration, 1866 Poplar Crest Cove, right across the street from Pimentos behind Mecca Eye Care. Look, you've been going to Joseph A. Banks, Kirby with Care 4 like I have. I still got a suit, by the way. I've got a 1986 from Cliff over there I can fit into. Man, it pays to swim. But anyway, check them out. Men's and women's alterations, sport coats, blazers, sport jackets, dress shirts. They can do anything if it involves a thread and a needle. Rocky's Alterations. Check them out on the web. All right, Jimmy, let's get back right now and talk Ole Miss. All right, Lane Kiffin, obviously his father, Monty Kiffin, one of the greatest defensive minds. I think he came up with the cover two.
The Tampa 2.
Tampa 2, that's right. But now Lane Kiffin, he was over there with Nick Saban in 2014, 15, and 16. But I'm going to just remind people, remember Blake Sims out of, I think he was out of Gainesville, Georgia, but he was a quarterback, running back to quarterback in 2014. They win the SEC, make it to playoffs. They lose to Ohio State, but he did it. They won the SEC. 2015, Jacob Coker transferred from Florida State. They win the SEC, and they win the national championship. Coker out of St. Paul's Episcopal School there in Mobile after transferring from Florida State. And then in 2016, with Jalen Hurts out of Channelview, Texas, who came in the spring, they lost to Clemson on a big pick play by walk-on receiver Hunter Henry in the national championship game. But 3 years in a row, he did it. He goes down to Florida Atlantic, and he wins 10 games a couple of times. He's at Ole Miss now. Ole Miss has been so close so many times. They got a rabid fan base. They love it. Only problem is, what's more fun? Hanging out in the Grove, drinking road sodas, and eating all that great food, and or going to the game. But I think he's a hell of a coach. He, Dan Mullen, Mike Leach, the three best quarterback coaches in the country. Can he win a lot of games his first year and long term? What's your gut feeling on the success or lack of success, do you think, that Lane Kiffin will have at Ole Miss?
just don't know. I just think the quality of coaches right now is the highest it's ever been league-wide in the SEC. And it's just hard to say. I mean, you don't know, as I mentioned earlier, how teams are going to perform until they actually go out there with the lights on, wearing the game uniforms, and there's other factor that you just never can predict, and that's injuries. You lose a couple of key players with injuries, and that can just totally ruin the chemistry of the team, and that's why the traditional heavyweight programs always have the advantage, because they are more likely to have the type of depth that can overcome an injury to a key player. And that's why I've always thought that in college football, you really have to have 44 to 45 players that can compete effectively at the SEC level, because you just really have to have a backup at every position, and you got to be QB on both sides of the ball. And so it's really, really hard to say. We're talking about some different coaches at different schools. I can have another answer for you, but with the coaching quality they have right now, I think it is better than anything. I mean, we obviously know or have an idea who's going to be likely to compete for the top 1 or 2 spots, but after that, it's really hard to predict.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy, hang on the line. We're going to bring in Coach Tommy Tuberville. And Coach, welcome to the show. I know you are going about 150 miles an hour. Congratulations. You got, 33 to 32 over Jeff Sessions in the Senate race, the primary in Alabama Tuesday. Now you got to run off March 31st. What's your game plan?
Well, take on the swamp, man. See, I'm trying to put an outside in out there, and it's hard. The swamp got all the money, they got all the establishment group up there, and it's hard to beat them. But I'm gonna beat them. They got a dose of the football coach know how to work, and I'll be a mass murderer about this time next week after they get done with me. I spend $1 million, but I'm having a good time, and we're gonna win this thing because we're doing it the right way.
How do people support you if they want to go online?
TommyPercenta.com. Just go in there and hit a donate button, whatever you can afford to. Just go online and look at my website. But it's been good. I appreciate you, Rob, having me on. But it's a lot of fun and doing it for the right reasons and trying to help the country and help President Trump. My gosh, he needs help up there. And the guy I'm running against absolutely turned his back on him 3 years ago, Jeff Sessions. So I got him on the side. President Trump, they want him up there.
Hey, I watched it all, and I watched WSFA TV 12 the other night. My wife and I did, and man, I tell you what, this is going to be. You got it. You got this, Coach. Got Jimmy Hodge on, one of our contributors on the show up in Chicago, and we were actually talking about Ole Miss, the place where you coached 95 to 98, and talking about the job that he thinks that the success we think Lane Kiffin will or will not have at Ole Miss, and all the changes. When you got to Ole Miss, it's like you flipped on the switch and said, hey, look, the glory days, 1947, 1973 with Johnny Vaught, Rebels won 196 games, 6 SEC titles, 3 national championships in 59, 60, and 62. You know, that was great. But you can't have Warner Alford out there in the Grove in a red blazer, khaki pants, a white starch button down, white bucks, and a red and blue tie talking about that. It's time to move forward. You turn the people on at Ole Miss. Let's raise money. Let's get people like Jim Barksdale involved. Talk about what you had to do, though, to wake the people up and say, hey, man, we can't keep living and looking out of the rearview mirror. We got to move ahead because you really lit a fire. As Billy Joel would say, we didn't start the fire. Well, you did start the fire there. You took what had been built and got it rolling. They got to get it going again.
Well, Lane Kiffin did a good job. The main thing, you got to know your program. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses. And over here, people have called me and asked me what I thought about it. And when we went there, we went on devastating circumstances, rough scholarship for a year, for 2 years, the probation, and Washington, their main, one of their main points too is they're in the SEC. You can recruit all the recruits. But, what we did is we looked 50 miles from campus, and we went after kids that we thought that we could get into school that would turn into good football players. Ole Miss, you got to build your football team. You're not going to build it off 5 stars and 4 stars. That ain't going to happen. You're dreaming if you think that's going to happen. You got to go build it off 2 and 3 stars. You make the guys better every day. You get a great strength coach, and you grind the heck out of them, and you earn it. You go earn it. Ain't nobody going to give you anything at Ole Miss or Vanderbilt or Arkansas or Mississippi State. You belong in the SEC, act like you belong in it, and go get it and earn it. And I think Lane will do good. The staff is very key, but you got to do your homework with the fans, and fans got to understand you, and they got to understand if you're there to help, and you're going to be there for a while. And I'm excited for Ole Miss. I think he can get the job done.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Coach Tuberville. You have to really do your homework on the culture of Ole Miss, what works there, what people that you have to have strong relationships with, and so forth. And then, identify your recruiting base, the type of kids that are going to fit into your culture. Are they coachable? Talent evaluation is always critical. And, Coach, I had a question for you in that when, as you mentioned, when you first got to Ole Miss, the program was on probation. And, in fact, I always thought that had the program not been in that situation, I think Peyton would have most likely played his college football there. But at the time, everybody knew Ole Miss was going on probation, so it became obvious that he wasn't going to play there. But I wanted to know, at what point in your time at Ole Miss did you realize that, hey, this is going to work? We're going to be able to turn this thing around and become successful, which you obviously did.
Coach, you there? All right. Hey, Jimmy, I think we may have lost Coach. I know that he is, hey, maybe the swamp got his phone line. I hope he's going to be back on here with us, but that's a good question. And, Coach, are you there? Okay, we have lost him, but Jimmy, that's a good point. 95 to 98, you remember the years that Tommy Tuberville was at Ole Miss. You had in 93 was the last year of Billy Brewer. 94 was Joe No Socks Dunn, and then Tuberville comes in. And my friend Brock Price, that played linebacker, native of a town not too far from you. Coach, are you back on with us? Anyway, Brock Price was from a town not too far from you, Jimmy, Naperville, Illinois. He played, 3 coaches in 5 years. And you know what? Walker Jones and these kids, they just a band of brothers. That's what they were. They got it rolling. And I think when they beat Georgia over between the hedges in Athens, and I think that Georgia was about to take it in and win that game. Ball went up in the air, and well, it was incredible. Brock Kreitz ran down Hines Ward from behind. Ole Miss was about to take it in, actually. I mean, Georgia was. But he ran down Hines Ward from behind. I think they believed then when they had 46 players on the field in Athens and they won that game, that was the turning point. That's what I think. Okay? But that's a good question. And I don't know what happened to Coach. He is all over the place, Jimmy, with this campaign. But your closing thoughts on that point?
Well, without the success he would have had at Ole Miss, he obviously wouldn't have got the Auburn job. And I know that firsthand that was a very difficult decision for him.
Yeah.
He had to think really long and hard about it for a couple of days. And, he took the Auburn job, and when it comes to his time at Auburn, I mean, nobody's ever going to forget the 6 wins in a row over Bama and then the undefeated season in 2004. And
we had quite a successful run there.
Yeah, and he's a winner. That's what it's all about. Jimmy, we're going to have you back on next week. Hey, thanks to everybody listening, all of our guests, all of our sponsors. Check us out, sidelines.live. We got some big news coming up this week. Hey, everybody have a great weekend. Snakeskin Cowboy, as always, great job. Audrey, pretty darn good bump music. Didn't hear any air supply tonight, so you're off double secret probation. I'll get in touch with Dean Wormer before the show ends. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
On May 25th, 2012, KQPM was granted a license by the Federal Communications Commission to serve the public interest as a public trustee until June 1st, 2020. Our license will expire on June 1st, 2020. We must file an application for renewal with the FCC by February 3rd, 2020. When filed, a copy of this application will be available for public inspection at www.fcc.gov. It contains information concerning this station's performance during the last 8 years. Individuals who wish to advise the FCC of facts relating to our renewal application and to whether this station has operated in the public interest should file comments and petitions with the FCC by May 1st, 2020. Further information concerning the FCC's broadcast license renewal process is available at 2730 Lamour Avenue, Metairie, Louisiana, or may be obtained from the